Okay, so hi, welcome to our next episode of Kath-e-Baath. I'm here with Roshni Koul. My name is Nitika Raina, and I'm here with Roshni Koul. She is a singer. I'll let her introduce herself, but yeah, you want to get
Yeah, sure. My name is Roshni. I am a freshman at Loyola University Chicago. Um, I'm majoring in anthropology and I'm pre-med.
cool.
So yeah, I've been
Okay.
for a while now.
I'm sorry. I'm just like trying to fix everything right now. Sorry again, everyone, for the technical delays. I'm just trying to figure out how to increase your volume. But um, so let's see. Uh, okay. So yeah. Okay. So why are there so many? I'm so sorry.
It's totally fine.
There are so many random things
They're popping
that
up.
are popping up suddenly from my computer. But so basically, can let's just get right on ahead. Around what age did? Oh yeah, sorry, I am a bit flustered right now. Okay, so where are you from originally?
I am, well, when talking about heritage, my dad is from Kashmir, my mom is from Punjab, but
Mm-hmm.
I am from I was born in Illinois and I've lived in Illinois my entire life. I
Okay,
believe
cool.
I think Amrita is saying to close the loop YouTube link because she can hear an echo.
Okay.
She said it's better now. Okay.
Okay, great. I just closed it.
Right.
Um. So okay, yeah. So you have lived in Illinois almost all your life.
Yeah, I've lived in Illinois my entire life. I was born in Downers
Your
Grove,
entire life. That's cool. Yeah.
um,
Um.
Downers Grove, and now I live in Naperville.
Okay, that's cool. So what year are you at university?
I'm a freshman, so
Okay,
just got
freshman. That's
started.
cool. What courses are you taking this semester?
This semester, I'm taking a lot of pre-med requirements. So I'm in chemistry.
Uh-huh.
I'm also in political science. I'm taking Spanish 4, and I'm in my university's honors program. So I'm in the
That's so
honors
cool.
lecture session. Yeah,
Nice.
it's awesome.
Okay. So let's just get straight ahead with the singing, which is why we're all here. So like about around what age did you start singing?
So I started singing around when I was 4 years old. So pretty
Oh
young.
wow.
Yeah.
So you've had quite a bit of experience. Who first inspired you to start singing?
My father. We would sit in the basement of our home, and he would play harmonium, and I would sit next to him, and then he would teach me sa re ga ma pa da ni sa, and I would sing with him all the time.
That's cool. So you started off with more classical singing?
Probably also a lot of Bollywood. My parents, when they were younger, they used to watch a lot of Bollywood movies, so I always heard glimpses of Bollywood songs, and I would sing them with them, and I'd always be listening to them, so they kind of stuck in my head.
That's so cool. So, do you prefer singing in Hindi or Kashmiri or English?
Probably Hindi because it's what well, one, a lot of Hindi songs are really beautiful, and I'm more comfortable speaking in Hindi than I am in Kashmiri. So,
Oh, so
yeah.
you know how to speak Kashmiri?
Very little, not really. I couldn't say I was
Yeah.
fluent. My father is Kashmiri, but my mom is Punjabi, so we don't have, the Kashmiri talk in the household. But I try to pick up little phrases here and there that my father teaches me. And then I'm also a big part of KOA here in Chicago, so I get to hear a lot of Kashmiri talked between all the parents and stuff. And when I go to visit India, also some of my cousins speak Kashmiri.
That's cool. Nice. So, a lot of the songs, uh, so as you said earlier, you first began to start singing by just listening to your parents and your dad, especially. So I noticed that a lot of your videos on YouTube, which by the way is really great. I've just been listening to them on repeat. Your songs are really nice, and your singing is very beautiful.
Thank
But a
you.
lot of them are very devotional, and some of them are even Kashmiri songs. So I guess, did you start off with singing more devotional songs, or like how did your, I guess, passion progress?
Yeah, sure. Well, when it comes to devotional and spirituality, I've been going to Chimay Mission, which is a Vedic school of studies, ever since I was very, very young. So Hinduism and Kashmiri Shaivism both are very huge factors of my life. They've influenced a lot of the decisions I've made and helped kind of form my beliefs and values as well. So I've always been tied to devotional music in general, especially in Indian classical music. A lot of it is devotional. So you
Yeah.
start using a lot of bhajans and all the rags that we sing, all the bandishes, they do have kind of the spiritual influence where they talk about gods, like they talk about Krishna, or they just their meaning. It's questioning purpose in life and things like that.
Mhm.
So I did grow up singing devotional songs. And one of the first Kashmiri devotional songs I learned is actually Hukas Bukas, which is on my YouTube.
Yeah.
Yes. So Hukas Bukas, it is a kid's nursery rhyme. But if you
Mhm.
look at the meaning, it's actually very spiritual and devotional. I mean, the song is talking about who am I?
Mhm.
It kind of brings in this idea of the soul and Atman and things like that, which is not many people know about it because they know Hocus Pocus as like a kid's nursery rhyme. So
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, so the reason my father taught me Hocus Pocus is because he sang it when he was younger with Kailash Mehra. Um, yeah, and it
That's
was
hilarious.
yeah, and it was really awesome because Kailash Mehra actually ended up coming to our home a couple months ago, and I got to sing it with her. So it was cool to have my father sing it with her, and then I got to sing it with her. So it's a generational thing.
That's so amazing.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah, can you talk a little bit about I know you I just I kind of stalked you on Facebook a bit. But so you also do you currently work do you still work as a vocal instructor?
I
I
do.
Yeah, could you tell me a little bit more about that, and basically like why did you get started as a vocal instructor and why you picked that school?
Yeah, sure. So I work at the Sadhana School of Indian Music.
Okay.
Basically, to get to the point of teaching, I went through a lot of training. I studied Indian classical music for a long time. So ever since I was around 7, I guess, is when my formal training started.
Mhm.
So I spent a good 10 years of my life training, taking exams, both performance and theory through the school. And then in July 2016, I had my Visharat, which is what's on my YouTube channel.
Okay.
And yeah, and that's basically when I got the equivalent of a bachelor's degree in vocal Indian classical music from Gandharva Mahavidyalaya University in India.
Wait, so you actually got like a degree in, oh, that's I didn't, that's really cool. That's
Yeah,
nice.
definitely.
So
That's
why
really awesome. So that's where
yeah,
it
that's
all started.
nice. So did you take the bachelor's degree in order to did you know that you wanted to become a vocal instructor and that's why you got the bachelor's degree, or did it sort of like just happen and you were training and taking the exams and you just decided, you know what, now that I have this degree, I might as well instruct.
Yeah, probably the latter, actually. Yeah, I continue to train because I love to sing, and then the progression works towards the degree, right? So you take
Yeah.
these annual exams, and then you end up with a degree. And I decided it would be best to give back to the community, so I took on teaching, and I have around 10 students that I teach on a weekly basis. I'm in
Mhm.
college now, so it's harder, but
Yeah.
luckily I'm local. So I
Mhm.
get to come home every, 2 to 3 weekends and I get to teach them and it's awesome because they're so cute and they're so talented and I
That's
love them. Yeah.
so what is the range of students that you teach? Is it like just around middle school or elementary school?
So my youngest student just turned 6.
Oh,
And yeah,
that's adorable.
and then yeah, she's really cute. I love her. And then my older students are sophomores in high school.
Oh, that's really cool. Nice.
Pretty wide range.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So what is your favorite aspect of teaching singing to others? Is it like I understand with the little kid, it's really cool to see how they grow up and how their singing grows up, but evolves from their age. But what else do you like about teaching other students?
Yeah, so you definitely hit upon like a great point. Vocal growth. It's really, really cool to see students start at one point and then progress.
Mhm.
And you hear it with the different things they do with their music when they start adding variations or these things we like to call haircuts, or they
Mhm.
start making up their own thans, or even some compose their own music, which is really exciting.
Oh, that's really
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah, so definitely growth. I also get very close to my students, so
Uh-huh.
it's not just about being a vocal instructor to them. It's also about providing guidance, whether it's like what classes should I take in high school, or
Mhm.
like I'm having this problem with my friends, how do I solve it? They come to me for that kind of advice, and it kind of makes me feel like a big sister
That's
almost, which is
really
really nice.
sweet.
Yeah.
That's really nice. That's cool. So, another thing I know that you're involved in is more on campus. You are also
Mhm.
part of LUC Rock, right? And that's an a cappella group, fusion a cappella group, right?
Yes.
Okay, so can you tell me a little bit about that and like how your experiences on the team have impacted you, and I guess how you also plan on perhaps making your mark on the team as well in the future?
Sure. Sure. Okay, so I am a part of LUC ROG. We're Loyola's premier South Asian fusion a cappella team. So basically, what we do is we take Western songs and Indian songs, and we mix them, and we put them in this, a cappella staff. You have your soprano, alto, tenor, bass. So I usually work. I sing both soprano and alto. So I actually love writing music. So I took AP Music Theory in high school, and ever since then, I've been composing. So what I do is I actually help write some of the pieces for my a cappella team. The song that we're actually studying right now is the song that I composed. So it's really exciting to be able to hear the music that I write come to life.
Yeah,
So that
that's so amazing. So you also, so basically, so you guys can sing your own songs that you've composed?
yeah. So basically, it's more of taking songs that already exist and
Uh-huh.
writing four different parts for it and making it suitable for the a cappella team. So for example, the mix that I wrote was mixing Kal Ho Na Ho, which is the Hindi song. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I actually mixed it with a Tamil song called Nila Kai Giradu. And my hope is in the future I'm going to try to implement a Kashmiri song and mix it with an English
That would
song.
be really amazing. I would love to see it happen. Yeah.
So I thought it'd be really, really neat to be able to
That
then
would
kind
be
of bring in my heritage, my
Yeah,
part of India into the.
definitely. That would be really amazing. I would so be down for that. Um,
Really.
I know that your dad, as you said earlier, was a huge inspiration and a huge part in creating and letting you start your life and everything in music. But who are your inspirations now? And I guess who are your favorite singers as well?
Sure. So my guru was a huge inspiration to me, Nirmata Dholakia. She has this great spirit and great energy, and I've always looked up to her. So she's definitely a huge inspiration. And when it comes to big singers, Lata Mangeshkar, Shreya Ghoshal,
Yeah,
uh,
definitely.
yeah, they're fantastic singers. And I know I could never get to that level, but it's so wonderful to have people like that that you can listen to and learn from,
Mhm.
because they're truly amazing. They're very gifted singers, and they have so much amazing technique, and they know so much. It's very impressive. Um, so yeah, and then I'm also inspired by singers around me. Like even on my a cappella team, everyone brings something new to the group.
Yeah.
Um, and then also when it comes to Kashmiri music, Kailash Mehra, because
Mhm.
she did sing with my dad, and then I got to sing with her, and she's
Mhm.
amazing, especially in Kashmiri songs. So definitely her as well.
Yeah, that's so cool. So, is your favorite Kashmiri song "Hukkus Bukkus" or is it? Do you have, what is your favorite Kashmiri song? Would you say?
Okay, sure. So the two songs I sang at my Bashar are Hokus Pokus and Harmok Bartal. My mom, who is in Kashmiri, she's actually the one who showed me Harmok Bartal in the first place.
Yeah.
And I really love that song. I also really like Daltai Mal.
Mhm.
Um, I've sung that ever since I was really young. And then there's just like a lot of Kashmir songs, I guess, that, I've listened to over the years with my father. It's hard for me to choose a favorite,
That's
but
true.
I do have a special spot in my heart for Harmok Bartal.
That's sweet. That's sweet. So now we can. I'd like to move on to a little bit more about your Kashmiri heritage.
Sure.
Um, so I guess it was from your dad. You already said, but we can expand on it a bit more if you can. How did you first get introduced to your heritage? And well, yeah, you also you answered a bit about like how your parents didn't really speak Kashmiri at home, but I guess your dad did, right? So how did you first get introduced, I guess, and what is your favorite aspect about your heritage?
Yeah. Okay. So when I was younger, I didn't completely understand Kashmiri heritage. I could see it, I could hear it around me, but my mind couldn't really grasp it. I remember
Yeah.
my dad would like give me a Theron tour sometimes, or we drink like kava, and
Yeah.
at that point in life, my Kashmiri world was just like eating haq and yellow paneer and damalu, and that was Kashmiri heritage for me.
Yeah.
Um, as I got older, I began to understand the beauty in Kashmiri heritage. Um, what I love is that no matter where you go and who you are, you will always find family among Kashmiris. Um,
That's so cool.
Especially being part of KOA. KOA has been a part of my life ever since I can remember. I've been to all the functions ever since I was really young. All my friends I met through KOA, and we're all a very close knit group of people.
Hmm.
Um, and they're family to me, and that's something really special that I don't think I could find anywhere else, especially because of all the tragedy and turmoil that Kashmiri Pandits have had to face. I think, although it was very sad, it does bring us together, especially here
Hmm.
in the U.S. when a lot of Kashmiri Pandits did migrate to the U.S. to escape the treachery and start life anew. It gave us an opportunity to really come together because all we have is each other to preserve our amazing Kashmiri culture. So although I don't really speak the language, I really
Yeah.
want to. I keep, asking my dad, how do you say this in Kashmiri? How do you say this in Kashmiri? Because, it's a language that's in the process of being lost, and
Hmm.
it's up to us, the new generation, to preserve it.
Yeah.
Um, and it's definitely something I want to pass on to my kids, and I want them to
Definitely.
pass on
Definitely.
to their kids.
Yeah.
So the importance of maintaining Kashmiri culture is vital. Uh,
Hmm.
Especially, it's not just the language, it's the traditions, it's the values, it's the respect. Kashmiris have so much respect for each other. Kashmiris are humble. They understand each other, and they're always willing to help each other out. And it's just this wonderful community of people that just kind of build off each other. And they're just developing and growing, and they're so strong. So that's something I really appreciate about being Kashmiri, because I feel that strength in me.
Hmm.
Mhm.
That's truly amazing. Another question I have is, when did you realize that you wanted to get more involved in preserving the Kashmiri heritage? Did it happen to you like while you were, for me, it happened while I was just explaining and just asking my mother more and more questions about her past and everything. So I guess when did that happen for you? Was it just like a moment that you realized, or was it like over time when you realized how
Mhm.
important it was? Or
So I think my story is pretty similar to yours. My
Mhm.
dad started telling me when I was old enough to understand kind of everything he faced in Kashmir.
Yeah.
I was younger, actually. He would take me to Devon Street, which is like Little India in Chicago.
Mhm.
And we would kind of on India Day Parade, we'd have like the Kashmiri float, or we went on Human Rights Day to protest, Kashmiri Hindu rights, to spread awareness of
Yeah.
everything Kashmiri Pandits have been through. So my father is a huge advocate for
Mhm.
preserving Kashmiri culture and kind of bringing awareness to the turmoil that is occurring in Kashmir. And I've kind of learned from that. And I started to understand it as I grew older, and he used to tell me more and more. And I slowly became an advocate for preserving Kashmiri culture as well. So I think definitely from hearing all his stories and being a part of all his work and advocacy has kind of brought me to realize how important it is to maintain like this strong, vibrant culture.
That's really good. So another thing you spoke about the language and how important that was in order to preserving Kashmiri heritage. But how would you like to help other Kashmiri youth preserve their heritage in their lives?
Sure.
Yeah.
So I'm in Zone 7 of KOA, and specifically here in Illinois, we do have these Kashmiri cultural classes where we spend about an hour to 2 hours a week, teaching kids the language, Kashmiri traditions, Kashmiri Shaivism. We're trying, a lot of the parents, they get together and they create these awesome PowerPoints and information sessions just for the kids to absorb all this knowledge, and it's been going really, really well. The kids have been learning a lot from it, so I think it's something great that Zone 7 specifically has implemented.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to something that I can do on an individual basis,
Mhm.
I think main thing is kind of showing upcoming generations how important Kashmiri heritage is. Because I guess to them at this point, like I said when I was younger, it's all about the food and the events and the outings that KOA provides. They still can't really grasp how important Kashmiri culture is. But I think they'll be able to find that in the friendships they make in KOA, and as they grow older and become more aware of again what their parents have been through to create a life in the U.S.
Mhm.
I think maturity does play a huge role in that as well.
Definitely, yeah. So, how long has that have those classes been going on for?
Quite a while, actually. Maybe a couple years now.
Dang,
Um,
that's impressive.
yeah, yeah.
That's really cool. Nice. And how many so you see like a lot of people understanding like kind of what's going on, right? And
Mhm.
how do you understand like do you know exactly like how that was able to how Zone 7 was able to get that together? Because I would really like to see that implemented in other places, for example in Austin, Texas,
Yeah,
or maybe somewhere in Texas, because I totally understand how important language is in preserving your heritage.
yeah.
Um, and so, how do you know how exactly that got started in Zone 7? And do you have any
So
advice for other cities, other places, zones where they'd like to do the same thing?
sure. So basically, it all starts with an idea,
Mm-hmm.
and when people are able to kind of step up on that idea and use it, when people are able to act upon this idea, that's when it all comes to fruition.
That's it.
So a lot of parents here in this area decided to come together and kind of they realized that Kashmiri heritage was being lost as a lot of their kids didn't speak the language or understand the culture. So they came together and they put together some PowerPoint presentations and a lesson plan, and they didn't really know where it was going to go, but they
Mm-hmm.
decided, one weekend, to have all the kids come into a basement of someone's house. Someone volunteered their house, and they made chai and keva and everything, and incentive for everyone to come, and then they the kids kind of just started learning, and after one lesson, the kids were hooked. I mean, they had their friends around them, which helped, right?
That's yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, getting to go somewhere for a couple hours a week where you get to be with your friends, that really helped kind of pull it together.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, it's not hard to start.
Mm-hmm.
You just need to have the determination to do it. If you have a strong group of people in a community that are pretty close by geographically, it's something that can be started like that. So,
That's
yeah.
so true.
hmm And then
Nice.
this year, actually, we do have the KOA camp happening in Chicago,
That's
which is
great.
really, really exciting. So again, another chance for Kashmiri people, Kashmiri pundits from across the U.S. to kind of come together and congregate and learn more from each other, which I think will be a great experience. I'm really excited for the camp. I think it's going to be awesome, and I'm really excited to meet you and the entire KOA community. So yeah.
Yeah, that sounds really fun. So as I gather from it, understanding your heritage is very important, and also like advocating for Kashmiri Pandits' rights and telling more people about our heritage and our tumultuous past is very important to you. And I actually also noticed that from your YouTube videos, I think the MC would give a bit of background before each song that you'd sing. So, and I actually learned quite a bit just from watching, just from hearing the MC talk about the background of the bhajans and the Kashmiri songs that you would sing. So, were you the person who gave the notes to the MC to sing, and like before you sang, and like why did you feel that it was important to give a bit of background and give a bit of context before each song?
Sure. So basically, I kind of went through and I wrote an introduction for all the songs, and um, I had some help from my parents, obviously, especially with the Kashmiri songs. I talked to my dad a lot, and he helped me kind of figure out what the meaning was, and he helped translate a lot of it for me. So I thought it was extremely important to start each rag or bhajan or song with an introduction because they're not just songs, they have this deep meaning to them.
Mhm.
And to get the full experience, you have to understand what's being sung. What does this truly mean? It's not just about, the notes and the harmonies and the pitches. It's about, the devotion. So I thought
Mhm.
by introducing each song with a short blurb about what it means, where it comes from, its origin, it would help the audience connect more to what was being sung.
That's true. That's really true. Yeah. Okay, that's really amazing. I think another question that we just got from the audience on YouTube was how deeply do you understand? You mentioned earlier that you would help teach the other kids about Kashmiri Shaivism, and the other parents would teach them. But one person asked, how deeply do you understand Kashmiri Shaivism? And did you learn about it formally from someone, perhaps a teacher or your father or something, or?
So a lot of elders in this community, especially, have imparted a lot of knowledge about Kashmiri Shaivism. I learned a lot of it from my father.
Mhm.
We actually have a bookcase in our home that's just full with books on, Kashmiri Shaivism, written by some amazing authors who do feel really deeply about Kashmiri Shaivism and follow it, kind of embody all the ideals of Kashmiri Shaivism. So
Mhm.
I guess from learning about Kashmiri Shaivism through the books and hearing about my father and just seeing how he practices life. Kashmiri Shaivism isn't something to be followed; it's something to be lived. And I just learned a lot from how he treats others and how the ideals that he holds strongly to himself. So those are kind of the steps. I was never taught formally.
Mhm.
It's just something I learned by living with someone that does follow it very carefully. And when you live with someone that does, it does tend to have an effect on you. So it's
Yes.
become an extremely important part of my life now, and it's definitely something I want to continue and help others grasp.
Great.
Mhm.
Now I guess we can talk about some other personal interests that you have. So in your free time, other than singing, what are some things that you like to do?
Okay. So I am a runner. I love to
Ooh,
run. I ran cross country in high school. I run whenever I get the chance. It kind of allows me to relax, especially in college when
definitely.
studying can be really stressful.
Yeah.
And it also kind of allows me to have time to myself. The mind is a crazy thing. It has a tendency to jump thought to thought to thought. Whereas, I kind of just focus and center. And when I'm running, it also kind of allows me to think about my identity. Who am I? When I'm running, it's just me. It's just my body, my soul.
Mhm.
And it I guess, kind of ties into Vedanta, interestingly. Constantly questioning my identity and who I am, and running kind of allows me to do that. When I'm thinking about every muscle working together in my legs with every step I take, and how I feel like it's almost separate from my identity. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just some thoughts that are running through my mind. It gives me a lot of time to think. I'm also a Gannon scholar on campus. So I am a feminist. So I work with a lot of women to, empower other women. So that's also something I'm very passionate about, and I work a lot on that in my free time. I love to read. It's unfortunate to say most of my free time is spent studying, so
Yeah, I
it's a
get
lot of chemistry. I'm also in chemistry research on campus. So this is going to sound really technical, but I functionalize surfaces of organic semiconductors, and I test them with different substrates, and that's what I do in lab. And I work with a bunch of chemistry graduate students, and we have a professor who's like an advisor, and I spend a good 8 to 10 hours a week in a lab in the dark doing research. So yeah.
That's really cool. Nice. That's a good way of spending your time. Just
Yeah.
learning more and more and like doing research. I guess doing what you're passionate about. And I'm guessing you're very interested in chemistry and medicine in general. That's
I
really
am.
cool. How you're not only interested in medicine, but you're also very passionate advocate for human rights and women's rights, which I am totally for.
Yeah.
For you, and also an avid singer, a professional singer, I mean, and a runner as well. So you are pretty much an all-rounder. That's cool. How do you find time to do all this? How do you find time?
Oh, it's very hard. My time management is a very important skill to be able to balance a lot of things.
Yeah.
Um, So, I mean, a lot of my time goes to, a cappella practices and studying and getting time to run. And, it's just, you barely have a minute to yourself. You have these 5 to 6 hours of sleep a night, and the rest of the time, kind of spread across doing things you have to do and things you want to do.
Mm-hmm. I get that. So I guess what are your short-term goals personally and professionally? In terms of singing, I guess, and also medicine, and yeah.
Sure. So when it comes to singing, I guess short-term goals, I just hope to learn more rags soon.
Mhm.
Ever since I started teaching, it's been great. I get to impart all this knowledge that I've learned, but it's given me very little time to learn myself. Because after you do get the degree, you do your Vishar, there is another set you can do. And then after you complete that set over the span of like 9 to 10 years, you can actually become like a guru, which I think would be amazing.
Yeah.
So short term, just start to learn more rags, and long term, be able to take all those exams, and maybe one day, when I'm, settled in life, to be able to, dedicate more time to singing and become someone of that position. Um,
That's
yeah,
amazing.
and then when it
Um,
comes to medicine, short term, study more. I do study a lot, and just keep maintain that, especially with these pre-med classes, because they're all weed out classes. So you have to be really on top of your game.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, and then when long term, when it comes to medicine, I'm really interested in the respiratory pulmonary systems, which is the lungs, and I'm
Mhm.
thinking about working in critical care, so working in the ICU. I'm also thinking about maybe cardiovascular or OB-GYN. I mean,
Mhm.
not sure yet. I'm still have a long way to go,
That's
but
so much time to decide that. Yeah.
yeah.
That's really cool. I really hope you have. I wish you the best of luck on that. It sounds like you're very passionate about all the things that you do, which is really amazing to see in young students like ourselves. And so I guess now we can just. I'm one more question, a couple more questions I have left, and then we can take questions from the audience. I don't know if anyone has any, or I guess there are a couple. But yeah, so a couple of the questions that I have last, what kind of music do you listen to? And you also talked about how you're an avid reader as well. What types of books do you read? And uh, who, I guess, do you have a favorite author? Do you have an author that you're like, who you look up to and everything?
Sure. Okay, so when it comes to my favorite type of music,
Mhm.
um, I do listen to a lot of like Indian music.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever people ask me this question, and they're usually American people, they ask me who like my favorite artist is, and they're expecting like a band or something that they're familiar with. But I do listen to a lot of Indian music, a lot of ballads, especially since I'm on a South Asian a cappella team. I
Mhm.
spend a lot of time singing Indian music, so that's just something that kind of sticks with me.
Mhm.
When it comes to American music, I do really like the band The Killers. And then, I'm also mainstream and I like Beyonce.
Who
So,
doesn't? Who doesn't?
yeah, who doesn't? When it comes to reading, I have read the entire Harry Potter series 7 times. Uh,
Amazing. A
yeah,
true fan.
one round for all the 7 books. Uh, so I know that I guess that's also kind of mainstream, but that's a series that's very, very close to my heart. I'm also, when it comes to favorite books, A Thousand Splendid Suns, Kite Runner, all by Khaled Hosseini. So he's a really, really good writer, and his writing is very insightful. So I highly recommend reading A Thousand Splendid
Definitely.
Suns. That's going to be my favorite book.
That's yeah, definitely. I totally agree.
Mhm.
Have you just a question? Have you read any? So there are quite a few actually books by Kashmiri pundits about the Exodus and about their experiences in the Exodus. Have you given the? Have you perhaps like seen a couple of those? Read a couple of those?
Yeah, I have. So like I said, I'm actually an anthropology major. So
Uh-huh.
for a class I did write a paper. We got to choose any topic we wanted actually for it. So I chose to write about the Kashmiri Exodus and the genocide and things that Kashmiri pundits face. So I wrote a very lengthy paper on it, and I did really like it. And basically, I ended up reading a lot of articles, documents, books about the Exodus, and I pulled a lot of quotes, and I interpreted a lot of what I read, and I kind of just went through and wrote this paper on it because it's something again that I feel very passionate about.
Yeah.
So through that study, I was able to read a lot. Um, I have read a lot about uh, what Hindus have gone through in general, not just specifically Kashmiris.
Uh-huh.
Um, and then a lot of the books on my bookshelf again
Yeah.
about Kashmiri history and the Exodus and Kashmiri Shaivism. So I do keep in touch with my literature.
That's cool. That's really great. That's great.
Mhm.
Also, I referred back to your YouTube website a couple of times. Do you plan on posting more on your YouTube website? And do you plan on posting like, so right now there are a lot of devotional and Kashmiri songs. Do you plan on posting some mashups that you compose that LUC Rag sometimes sings to, or
Yeah, that's
oh,
actually my next step. I actually do have a couple recordings from performances that my a cappella team did, and
mhm.
I thought it'd be really cool to post those, and especially the one that I composed that they're learning right now. I was hoping to record it and then put it on my YouTube channel, uh, because I think it's our a cappella team is really, really great. We all work really, really hard, and we have some really talented singers in the group. So I'd love to showcase that on my YouTube channel.
That's great. Cool. I guess there is one more question on the YouTube. Someone asked, "What school did you go to in India?" Or what? I'm guessing he's referring to the singing school that university. So what school was that?
So it's Gandhara Mahavidyalaya. It's in Nashik, Maharashtra. And
Mhm.
I didn't go to the school. Actually, my school here in the U.S., the Sadhana School of Indian Music, is affiliated with the university.
Oh,
So I take all the exams from the university, but I take them in the U.S. So I don't actually have to go to India.
yeah. Okay. That's cool. That's cool. So, did you did you figure out about this singing university through Sadhana's school of music, or okay, that's cool. Yeah.
I'm not sure if you know who this is, but Pandit Ronu Majumdar. He's a very famous flute player in India, and I work with him a lot actually with my singing. He's my guru's guru, so he comes to the U.S. a lot, and he's the connection between Sadhana School of Indian Music and the university in India.
Oh, okay. That's cool. So I guess just those are all the questions I have right now so far. Um, if anyone else has any other questions, you can feel free to post on the YouTube page or comment on the Facebook page. And do you have any last minute sort of spiel or something that you'd like to give, or I guess what do you hope to see in the future with KUA Youth
Mhm.
um, as a community, and also how do you hope to move it forward or push it forward?
Sure. So I think KOA Youth is this great, amazing group of young people
Mhm.
that really do have the chance to, preserve Kashmiri heritage and, do something with it. I think attendance at a lot of the events is really important. That's something I need to work on personally.
Yeah.
So I think, like, again, the camp here in Chicago is going to be a great opportunity for that, especially for the KOA Youth,
Mhm.
for everyone to kind of come together and meet each other. So just take initiative and get out there. And if I also feel like it's important for all of us to be able to maintain the Kashmiri language.
That's
I'm sure a lot of
true.
KOA youth people do speak it. I'm one of the
Mhm.
people that is in the learning process, so
Yeah.
I personally need to work on that. And I think it's important that other people kind of refine and maintain their skills.
That's cool. That's great. I guess actually, my final question will probably be this. So I hosted like a panel interview of a lot of other Kashmiri singers and artists,
Hmm.
and we were just talking and discussing and throwing around the idea of perhaps hosting some event where we can get Kashmiri singers or Kashmiri artists to collaborate on uh, performing a Kashmiri song or two together, mainly to like just show a bit of unity in the
Hmm.
KOA youth, because I know from a lot of the discussions that are on the KOA youth page and everything and the group me's, we're all connected, but we're all connected in our own sort of like areas,
Right.
locations, regions, and everything. And so it'd be really cool to have something where we can have a collaboration that's not only between Kashmiri young youth singers and artists from America, but also from around the world. Seeing as you're such a go-getter, you're really passionate about like preserving the Kashmiri heritage. Do you think you'd be interested in that? And do you think
Definitely.
you'd have any ideas on that and who to contact and everything like that?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a fabulous idea. There's so much potential and talent in the Kashmiri community,
Mhm.
especially all over the world, and especially here in the U.S.
Yeah.
When we have this KOA youth group. I mean,
Mhm.
there's so many talented singers in this group, so I think it's a great idea to be able to come together and collaborate on something. And I don't think that can be just limited to singers. I think we can involve
Definitely.
people that play instruments and stuff. In
Yeah.
my my cousin came from India, and in Harmel Barthel, his name is Rishabh. He played guitar. My brother played tabla.
Yeah.
And to involve these different instruments, I think it would be really beautiful to pick a couple songs and just kind of get together and make some music.
That's great. That sounds awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day, busy day, to join me on this episode of Kath-e-Baath. Um, and I hope to see you in the near future.
Yes, definitely.
And I wish you the best of luck on everything. I'm so proud of that there's another feminist who's
Yes.
passionate about their Kashmiri Pandit heritage, and just voicing, raising awareness about everything that our parents and even some people from our generation have had to endure, and just trying to move forward from there and connecting people from all around the world and the nation to just preserve our culture. So thank you so much for your work,
Thank you
and
for
I
having
do hope that you will succeed in all your goals.
me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. See you.